watching the draft like last week or 2 weeks ago was crazy. Brought back a ton of memories from the day, and a ton of phone calls and preparation and meetings and different things. Yeah, it was a special time, but how fast that year has gone is unreal. So, it's been a year of ups, downs, kind of road bumps and different things going on, and just trying to continue to push through and make an impact wherever I'm at, and be present with the guys that we have around and the people here. So it's been great, but that was a crazy time last July. So yeah, it was wild.
What advice would you give to yourself in that position, or maybe those who just recently were drafted, about what the pro game's like?
As soon as you can implement your routines and be yourself as soon as possible, the better you're going to be. If you try to get into a new environment and really try to kind of feel around it too much and try to be someone you're not, or try to make your routines fit in just like everyone else's, like you do what you know works for you and makes you feel like you can go out and play the game with freedom. So just being themselves and trying to keep the game of baseball as much as possible, and not get too deep into anything mechanical or thoughtful, too deep in thought in the field. We all play at our best when we're mentally free and just like enjoying it and like being reactive athletes, So just trust what you do, trust your routines, and be yourself is what I would say to a draft person this year.
Well, you're coming back to the RubberDucks after rehabbing for a couple of months. The injury that you did have back in May, how did you notice that you were injured?
Yeah, sort of an unfortunate kind of thing. We had an early morning start to a doubleheader, had a big workload game one, was on base a lot, kind of just, exerting. It was humid out, so probably sweating, losing some electrolytes, some salt, whatever, in my sweat. So, maybe a touch dehydrated. Going to game two, and obviously wasn't prepared enough there. So on base again, kind of diving around and trying to steal second, getting back. I felt a little kind of weird tweak on my side. And I was like, oh, that feels a little weird. And then basically the next swings I took, it felt uncomfortable. And then in the at-bat preceding that, each swing I took it felt like it was worsening. And there was sort of a pulling feeling or a movement feeling over my kind of 11th rib sort of area. And I was grimacing, and yeah, it wasn't great. So yeah, I think on the basis some point I might have tweaked it, and then the swings kind of just exaggerated whatever was going on. And it was super unfortunate, but learning experience, and just got to keep taking care of things, keep being hydrated, keep prepping really well for games. That's going to take care of just being healthy out and being able to play out on the field. It was a learning experience. Yep.
The process that it took to get back to Akron, what went on over the last couple months for you?
Yeah, so get images, kind of see what's going on, and then head to Arizona and start the rehab process. And essentially with soft tissue muscle injuries like it's like at first you need it to kind of heal up and build some scar tissue, but while that's going on, there's sort of some light, usually isometric exercise, so kind of holding a position for an extended period of time that allows to help that formation and bring some tension to the muscle that helps it heal. So just light stuff early on, and then beginning to build in some more extensive stuff, some more moving through kind of rotation. And then once we felt like my strength and pain tolerance was gone, and re-imaged the oblique to see the healing was occurring, then we could start to think about adding swing. So week 5 we started adding swinging, week 7, I was back in the AZL kind of thing, week 6 or 7, end of week 6 maybe. I think week 7. And then I was out here week 8. So the timeline was as smooth and efficient as it was planned to be with the doctor. And yeah, there wasn't many road bumps. So just hoping to have the oblique not sort of linger. It's common for guys in baseball to play with lingering oblique issues, but I think we rehabbed really well, and I've recovered really well to where I'm not feeling any issues. So I've just got to keep it that way and make sure I'm taking care of things.
Who gave you the best advice in the process of working back from injury?
Ooh, I mean, I reached out to a bunch of people. I reached out to old teammates at Oregon State. I talked to guys like Wade Meckler, and then, I mean, had small conversations with Stephen Kwan. He's kind of battled through some different muscular injuries in the past, so he's always willing to give me advice, and he's unreal for that. And then, I mean, our training staff and rehab staff in Arizona does a really good job at doing what they do. So Jeremy Harris, Dan Himmerich, Garrett Cash, some of those guys, Dr. Jenin in Cleveland, like, they set me up for success, and we were able to be really communicative and sort of just figure it all out as it went on and put me in a position to succeed.
You mentioned the learning and development. As we know, that's what happens at this level. How do you feel like you were able to learn and develop even over the last couple of months that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise?
Yeah, it's funny. I did feel like I pretty quickly, after the injury and knowing I was going to be down for some time, make the most of how I could sort of use that 8 weeks as some mental prep for the finishing part of the season, and then also just kind of understand what I'd done in that first 2 months, and break it down a little bit. Like, I had to stop playing baseball, but I couldn't really stop thinking about the game and diving into some things. So yeah, we talked about some mechanical things in the box. We talked about some approach things in the box with people in the organization. And we talked about, when I was back on the field, what kind of things we're going to continue to work on defense. So just always looking for intention in my work. And since I've been back on the field, AZL and here, I've been able to see some things that we talked about in those kind of first 4 or 5 weeks of rehab playing out on the field. So it's cool. I was able to make something out of that time down and not just kind of rest and do nothing. I feel like I was productive in the ways I could be, so that was good.
And getting back onto the field and getting back here with the Akron RubberDucks, how much did you follow this team before you rejoined?
Every day, yeah. I mean, I had the MILB app, or the MILB tab on my search in Safari up all the time, and I would go Akron, Lake County, Columbus, AAA, AA, high, whatever. I was always looking at the scores, and I mean, most days when I got home from the field, I was watching Guardians games. Unfortunately, like, the start of when I was back in rehab was like the kind of 10-game, 15-game stretch with the Guards where it was troubling. But yeah, I watched baseball and was always kind of checking in the guys. The group chats we have, I was always hitting them with different things I was seeing on the box score and whatever, and asking the boys about, how are we going another 8 innings, getting no hit again tonight? It's 3 times in 2 weeks. Nah, but we talked about some of those things and joked around, and yeah, I kind of stayed in touch, which was really nice. It makes being back here feel like it was yesterday, and the relationships are great. So
the taste that you got of playing ball in Akron, how much does that excite you to get back to Canal Park to play games in front of those fans?
Yeah, it's unbelievably exciting. Coming back from injury and going on the road, it's like, I think it's going to hit me being back when you play at home a little more and get settled in Akron and be in front of the fan base. And yeah, it's a great place to play, fun place to be. So I can't wait to be back in Akron next week.
Has there been a highlight so far for you playing as a rubber duck this year?
Off the top of my head, I can't pinpoint one thing. We walked off a game in Canal Park. I think it might have been Burgos, potentially. Yeah, Burgos walked it off in Canal Park. Might have been 11 innings, might have been 9. I'm blanking, but I remember just running out, and that game was kind of a close ball game. And one of the other highlights was against Somerset. I think it was 3-2. It was 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th, they score 1-3-2. I come up in maybe the bottom of the 9th and tie the game. That was a really cool swing for me this year, where it was like the series had felt very back and forth, and you get these kind of moments that pop up once every couple of weeks where it's like, now's my chance to really take a game for the guys, or show up and make an impact on winning baseball in those competitive times. It feels like the playoffs a little bit, and that was one of those times, and that was a fun swing. We didn't end up finishing the job that night, but yeah, definitely Burgos walk-off and then the Somerset swing was some ones that once I got thinking, they were cool, for sure.
As you prepared mentally to come back to the RubberDucks, and as you're here now to play baseball and the games in front of you, what are the areas that you want to continue to develop and continue to push forward?
Yeah, I think combining the eye and the swing decisions I have in the box, but being able to limit, it's this fine line between limiting looking punch outs and taking walks. So it's like there's a lot of these borderline pitches. I think so far this year, and especially early on, I was tending to take cutters and sliders on the outer third for strike 3 a lot, and right now I feel in a really good place just tracking and making better swing decisions faster. So I'm always going to take my walks, but just understanding how I can make the most of my contact skills and ability to put the ball in play in certain situations where I've tend to have some takes that could be, just a approach adjustment. So I feel really good right now. In the last couple of weeks, I've been much better with that, which is awesome. And then just continuing to trust catching the ball out in front against left-handed pitchers, get forward, make good swing decisions. I think I was a little defensive early in the year against lefties, which is something I didn't really do in past. So just continue to be on the attack against them. And then, the priorities that I care every day about, preparing my body to be out there. If I can play, then I can bring value, but obviously don't want anything else to kind of occur or come up, or the oblique to stick around. So the body is priority number 1, but maybe some approach things on righty breaking balls late in counts, and then lefties just staying on the attack and trying to damage pitches early and hitters counts and early counts, for sure.
I know you talked earlier this year about making impact on defense. Where do you feel like you are in that side? Yeah,
I think it's been solid. I've definitely made a lot of the plays I need to make, but then there's some plays that we're just continuing to dial in. I feel like there's some plays I could have made going left a little better, which I've gotten better since college, but maybe some dives and some flipping the hips on kind of deep second base hole that I could continue to work on, and then just being more efficient with my double play turn, I think, is one thing. But for the most part, to the backhand side, routine plays, double play turns, 4-6-3 feel great, but I'd say like 5-6-3 on my end. 5-4-3 on my end, and some plays going left. I think there's still room to use my athleticism and continue to become more efficient in those moves. So we'll continue to work on that.